Okay, well, we are a few minutes after 9. We had some other people register. I'll be watching the waiting room to see if anybody else pops in here. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and get started. Again, I'm Jenny Warner. I'm the Executive Director of the Miami Valley Nonprofit Collaborative. Welcome to you all, our very first program of 2021. We are excited about what we have lined up for this year in terms of support for the nonprofit community. And like last year, we are starting with the Better Business Bureau Eclipse Integrity Awards nomination seminar. So this is an amazing opportunity for nonprofit organizations to get recognized for the amazing work that they are doing in our community in any year, and certainly in this past year. So here in a moment, we're going to introduce the BBB staff and then have Sherry tell us all about the Eclipse Awards and the process and how it can benefit your organization. But in the meantime, just a couple of quick announcements. We'll stay muted. There's a small group of us, but we'll stay muted unless we're speaking. Certainly feel free to use the chat as well. But we'll let Sherry kind of guide us here. But certainly since we're a smaller group, we may be able to pretty easily voice questions and that sort of thing. I am recording today's session. In the event it is valuable to anyone afterwards, so feel free to email me afterwards if you'd like to listen to this again. I'm more than happy to share it. And it does sound like Sherry's going to have some handouts and materials, so we will be emailing those out as well after today's session. Just if you're new to us, and a couple of you are new to us, a little bit about the Miami Valley Nonprofit Collaborative. We are a nonprofit ourselves, and we are here to support the capacity building of other nonprofits in our community. We believe that stronger nonprofits make a stronger community. So we have been running programs since 2015. We actually just incorporated as a nonprofit ourselves in early 2019. So we're relatively new ourselves as a nonprofit organization, but over the last 6 years, we've served over 500 different agencies and over a couple thousand nonprofit professionals have participated in our program. So we're excited again about this upcoming year. We provide training and networking events, leadership development programming, and we're now providing consulting services as well to nonprofit organizations. You'll find everything about us on our website. I've got our link there, so you're welcome to check us out and certainly reach out to me if you have any questions. Our big news from last year is that we achieved our Better Business Bureau Charity Seal accreditation. So we were thrilled to join others who have proven, that they are committed to honesty, integrity, and excellence in their nonprofit organizations. So we are proudly holding that logo and that seal in terms of what we are doing for organizations. Christy, who I'm about to introduce, can always answer any questions too about that Charity Seal accreditation if you're interested in learning more about that. One thing I'll say that we as the Nonprofit Collaborative have not yet endeavored is indeed this Eclipse Award. So we're thinking after some of our new services and things that we're rolling out in 2021, next year, Sherry, might be our year that we apply ourselves. So we've been talking about this from the very beginning. So I'm excited to get a refresher here this morning so I can be thinking about that, this year. Okay, so we do have a program sponsor today. It is indeed the Better Business Bureau, and would like to introduce Christy Mao. Christy is our Vice President of Operations at the BBB. She's also our board chair with the Nonprofit Collaborative. So we actually partner a lot with the Better Business Bureau, and they are a big part of how how we got here and how we are continuing to serve the nonprofit community. So Christy, let me turn it over to you to share what's going on with the BBB.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's pretty cool. Everybody on this call is BBB accredited, so I can make this pretty short. You know the value of a BBB charity and business accreditation. It's a way to set yourself apart from, just pronounce that your commitment to integrity and ethics in the marketplace, in your giving activities. And we have 20 standards of charity accountability that outline your governance, your fundraising, your finances. So it's a really great way to let the public know what your commitment is. So without further ado, I think we have some events coming up. So I wanted to be sure to invite everyone to our upcoming Lunch and Learn with our Women in Business Networking group. You don't have to be a woman though, right, Wally? Everyone is welcome. We do have a Lunch and Learn coming up here in January 26th, and it is a good one because it's 2020's done, bring on 2021. I know this speaker, Lisa Cupp from Big Rocks of Life, she's gonna just kind of get us motivated and excited about doing good things this year. So please join us for that. And I think next we'll get ready to introduce our speaker today. I happen to have worked with Sherry Sword for more than 20 years, so I know you're in good hands. She is going to talk all about the Eclipse Integrity Awards nomination process, which is not nearly as scary as it might sound. It has been transformed over the past couple of years to make it even easier to do. So I will turn it over to her, and she can tell us all about that.
Fantastic. Well, I am glad that you all are here. I am going to share my screen. Say a little prayer for me. It all works. This is always when I hold my breath for a minute to make sure I do it right. Can you all see my screen? Yay, I see head nodding. Okay. So I am excited you're all here. The Eclipse Integrity Awards is my baby. I love it. I think it's a great opportunity for us to shine a light on the great things that organizations are doing. You know, so much of the Better Business Bureau, everybody talks about complaint handling that we do, but it's really the smallest part of what we do. But this is kind of like the opposite, where we shed a spotlight on the good things that people are doing in our community. So it's just fun, and I love doing it. But really, the awards are all about ethics, honesty, and integrity. And who would not want to be honored for their ethics, honesty, and integrity? Our integrity is what we all value the most. And so as a business or as a nonprofit, to be able to say you have been recognized for your integrity says a lot and really can help propel you as you're doing business. So it's a great honor to be able to secure for yourself as a finalist or as a winner. So we'll kind of just walk through things here. Now, I'm really an informal person, so if you have any questions along the way, just unmute yourself and ask, and we will be happy to answer those questions. Nicole Sturck is my cohort here this morning. She is a past winner when she was with Echoing Hills, and she's working for a current winner now with SIXA, so she can share a lot of experience, and she's going to kind of tag team with me and give you that winning perspective as well, because I think that's valuable to be able to hear how they strategize and went through the process. So feel free, Nicole, to unmute at any time and chirp in and help. So I'm going to talk about the Nonprofit Integrity Award and how it's defined. And it's a little different than the Business Award. And Wally, I will go through after everything's done and pull up that and show you that definition as well, because it is slightly different, but I'll share it with you as well. But the Nonprofit Integrity Award actually is all about your community service, the excellence in the programs and fiscal stewardship, your ethical leadership, how you're transparent in all that you do, and your collaborations and partnerships. What I hear from a lot of people is they print this out and keep it close by to where they're putting their award together. Can help you decide what you're going to keep and what you're going to take out from everything that you've gathered through this process. It's just a good rule of thumb as, okay, this is what the judges are looking for. And so keeping this really, really handy. Now,
Can I add a note real quick, Sherry? So what we did with this was we actually cut those bullet points out into strips and affixed them to folders. And then when our staff team, we encouraged them to, as they found examples of that, put them in the folder. And then that folder went into a cardboard box. And that was kind of our, I'll call it draft one or round one of gathering information. So that's just the way we did that.
I hear that a lot. So that's a really smart move and good advice in regards to that. Now, for Kettering Health Network, your definition is going to be a little different. Yours is going to be broken into two different parts as far as what the award judges are looking for. It's going to be on your leadership's perspective on integrity and what they do with integrity, and your overall team's perspective on integrity and everything that they do. But I will share that very detailed here at the very end, so you have that as well. And I'll give you both of the PowerPoint presentations. So it's much easier than it was in the past. We heard the cry. Everybody's like, are you crazy? I don't have that much time to put this award together. I don't have enough staff to be able to. So we heard the cry about 2 years ago, and we totally revamped how we do this award. And so made it much easier and made it more relevant. It's pieces and parts you already have. So it's a lot less complicated than it was before. I mean, and you probably heard the horror stories about the 2-inch 3-ring binder. That is not the case anymore. It is much easier. Everything is done online. We really tried to simplify the process. For nonprofits, it's really just going to comply to an entry form, which is all online, and that's your who, what, why, when, how many employees, that kind of thing. For nonprofits, it's 4 essays that you have to complete. Businesses like Kettering Health Network would be 3 essays for you to complete. And then business documentation, which is all things you already have. It's your mission, vision, guiding principles, strategic plan, training, those kinds of things. And then I ask for your logo right off the bat too, because as soon as I announce you as a finalist, I am going to promote the bejeebies out of you. And I will start using that logo right off the bat. So I just ask for it right up front so I can start using it. But everything is online. There's no 2-inch 3-ring binder. So much easier than it was in the past. And that's when Nicole applied. You did it all in the binder, right?
Right. And I was going to say, I was that crazy person. Why would I? Let's do it. Why not? Yeah, we did ours in the binder. And for us, the binder, that was the year that it was the first year that you could have done an online entry. It is the year that we won at Echoing Hills. It was 2017. And that for us, it was more a matter of, we knew we're a statewide organization. So we knew we had people physically turning in papers. And so for us, we wanted to have that physical binder anyway, but people that did online, you can still print it off and have that. So it's not like you can't, make a physical binder because those binders really helped. That physical presence helped with meeting with donors and meeting with for new business as well. So
I agree. So the minimum requirements, these are true for businesses or nonprofits. You do have to be in the BBB service area, which we cover 7.5 counties. It's the typical Miami Valley footprint. You have to be meeting your financial obligations. You have to have been in existence for 18 months. We don't want somebody saying, oh, well, we've been open for 8 months and it's been going great. We want to see that tenure of that integrity and those ethics in place. You do not have to be BBB accredited or be a BBB seal holder as a charity. We've had both. We've had those that are accredited and those that are not, those that are seal holders and those that are not. And you do have to disclose any major lawsuits. Now, I'm not talking about those lawsuits that you may have from those customers from hell. We all get those, and that's not what I'm looking at. It's the government action types of pieces. The lawsuits that we would actually report in your business profile as a business. So that's what we're looking for there. And then again, you can't serve on the Eclipse Planning Committee. You can't be a major sponsor, which would be our Students of Integrity or our principal sponsors. And you can't reapply for 5 years. There are way too many great organizations in our community. We want to shed the light on as many as we can and not have the same company win year after year after year. We've all seen those awards programs out there, and that's not what we want to do. As nonprofits, you have to meet the BBB standards for charity accountability. And if you don't know if you do, you can go online and check out your charity report. For businesses, you have to be a B rating or higher. And as you know, we rate companies from an A+ to an F. And then as a nonprofit, which is where this affects Kettering Health, is you have to solicit funds directly from the public, not necessarily be funded through services that you provide, as in patient fees and those kinds of things with Kettering Health Network. So that's where the difference is. I know Kettering Health Network is a nonprofit, but in this situation, you'd be competing in the business category in regards to that. And then local, state, or federal government agencies aren't eligible to apply. We're a business association, we're a charity association, and so government agencies are not eligible. In fact, this award system is offered throughout the United States. We are one of the few that actually offer a charity award. So we've kind of led the way in that regard across the United States and Canada. If you'd like to look at past winners' nominations, you are more than welcome to come in and take a look at them. In fact, I have somebody coming in this morning to look at them. I have them printed out so you can come in and take a look and see what they are. I won't email them out because I think I should not have that in other people's hands as a go-to, but you're more than welcome to come in and look at them and review them. And I'm happy to do that. I'll set you up in a conference room with some water, with some coffee, and you can have at it taking a look at. Coffee is good. We all like our coffee, especially
holding true to that. That is correct. Sherry will give you water and coffee and mints and anything you'd like.
Absolutely.
I took her up on it.
I will, and you can come in as many times as you like. You can get in to get a start. You can come in the middle to see if you're still on the track you want to be on. You can come in at the end to see if there's anything you missed. You're welcome to come in as many times as you want. Just give me a call so I can make sure that you're here and that you can get in the building. We are under construction. We are part of the arcade project. And so it can be a little crazy to get in our building at this time. And actually our offices are closed, but we are making the exception for y'all to be able to come in and take a look at those, not binders, but those entries to see what other people have done. I would like Nicole alluded to, I would keep a copy for yourself. This is going to be a real process of self-discovery for you and your organization. It's a great thing for you to turn to as nonprofits. It's a great resource for you to show to new employees. It's a great resource for you to show to funders. It's a great resource for you to be able to turn to and say, how do we do that back in 2020? Let me pull out that binder and I can show you how we used that. And we'll do that. And the deadline for submissions is 4 o'clock on March 1st. So remember, technology is not always our friend. So you might want to do it a little bit earlier in case there's any quirks. But technology is not always my best friend. Maybe it's always your best friend, but it's not always mine. So we'll be happy to do that. Any questions so far? Don't be shy. Okay. So things to keep in mind as you're putting this together, and I'm sure Nicole can chirp in on these as well, is it's really about being a storyteller and sharing why your organization is deserving of this honor. Tell me, it's not about what your company does, but how it does it. It's the how, it's the best practices, what sets you apart from the competition. If you are not headquartered in the Miami Valley, still focus on your local perspectives and the things that you're doing locally. Carefully select your letters of reference. And the good thing is, it used to be, we would get those binders and there'd be 100 letters of references. That's a lot of work and not necessarily fruitful. Whoop, come back, Sherry. Not necessarily fruitful at all. Because if you go and ask the chamber for a letter of reference, you're going to get a form letter. That doesn't tell me a whole lot because everybody and their brother has that same form letter in their book. Make them meaningful and make sure whoever is writing you that letter of reference know why they're writing it. So choose those letters carefully. And actually, I only want 2 from each type of constituent. So it's 2 from customers, 2 from employees, 2 from competitors, 2 from vendors, 2 from board members. I don't want a boatload. So make the ones that you choose be meaningful. And the good thing about this, which is so much easier, is everything that you're going to provide already exists. You do not have to recreate it. It's all in the DNA of your business. You're just putting it all together and scanning it into one PDF file so that you can upload it into the system. Cool? Okay. Do you have anything to add, Nicole?
I just didn't have a chance to ask. Shayna, what organization are you with? I'm sorry.
I'm at the Life Enrichment Center.
Oh, okay, great. I feel like I saw you before. I was like, I feel like I've seen you, and I'm like, I just didn't know how to connect. I didn't know if I knew you from there or just had met you there at one point. So, okay, great. Yeah.
No, I think on another networking event.
Okay. Hi, Gloria.
We're glad you're here, Gloria. Gloria, what organization are you with?
Still Standing LLC. It's a new organization.
Very cool. Welcome. We're glad you're here.
Hi.
Now, what is your mission for Still Standing?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
What's the mission of Still Standing?
To provide transitional services to at-risk youth before they are released from the facility.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, we're glad you're here.
Thank you.
The only note I was going to add is when you tell your story, like depending upon if you have only one physical location or multiple locations, there are some ways I've seen that kind of help you not just tell the story of your organization, but also how do you bridge all these separate, entities or programs together. So if you get stuck on any of that, I'd be happy to give you some pointers or help in any way. So, and I know Sherry's got my contact information in there as well. So you can reach out. And I'm
going to encourage you all to hit her up. Hit her up. She is a wealth of information.
Because I was the crazy person who did it when it was, right, like Sherry alluded to, when it was the big guy, it was all the categories. And so, but yeah, I'm happy to answer, or just if you have those other random questions, please reach out to me.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your essays. And again, Kate, yours are going to be a little different, but I will share that with you at the end. So your first essay is going to be the 2-page summary. And I say it's your first essay, but I'd really suggest you write it last, because as you're pulling everything together, you may find that your narrative has changed, because like I said, this is a process of self-discovery. I'm betting, I hear more often than not that you're going to find out some pretty cool stuff about your organization that you didn't know before. So I would suggest writing this last. The cool things are all the essays are relatively short. They're all 1,000 words or less. They're not over 1,000 words. And when you think of that, that's only 2 pages, double space. So they're not long, lengthy essays. And I would suggest that you use these bullets as your headers or your subheads in those essays. So you can see with 4 bullets, you're going to go bounce through that really quickly and doing that. And this essay is the same whether you're a business or a nonprofit. So you're going to define you're going to say how you define integrity, which is kind of in a weird way a relative term. So talk about how your organization defines integrity. You're going to say why you should be the winner, highlight some of the best practices that would make you the winner, and also talk about your commitment to standards that build trust in the marketplace. So literally, those are your 4 subheads to use on that essay. Then your second essay as a nonprofit is you're going to talk about your operational excellence. And you're going to explain your programs, and what you do there. You're going to talk about your fiscal stewardship, and you're going to talk about how you operate with integrity. And this is even less. This one's only 750 words, and I'm going to cough. So it's not as long either. So, and literally you can use these as subheads again within your essay: excellence of programs, fiscal stewardship, operation with integrity. So you can use those as your subheads. Then your third essay is going to be about the dynamic people, the great people that are on your team. You're going to talk about your ethical leadership, and you're going to talk about how you keep that strong team and they're different, and you make that culture within your team. Again, it's 750 words. It is not lengthy. And I would encourage you, again, to use subheads so that the judges know that you're answering the questions that you're supposed to. And then the fourth essay is how you help to build a strong community, which is what all you nonprofits do. You are the heart soul of our community. You help keep us on the straight and narrow and make us a better place. So talk about how you do that. Talk about your communication transparency and how you work with collaborations and partnerships. That's one thing I love about the Miami Valley, is our organizations are really good at that, of collaborating and partnering with other groups so we have less redundancy in services. So talk about those and that. And again, that essay is only 750 words. It's not the 1,000 words that your initial one is. Now for businesses, Kettering Health Network, your second essay is going to be about how your leadership communicates integrity and what they do to maintain their integrity and what kind of training they go through for that. Your third essay is going to be about the organization overall and how they have adapted that culture of integrity, excuse me, and how they do that with their practices as well. And again, I'll send you those definitions. Cool. Any questions about the essays? Cool.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let's talk about the documentation. And I have a list of some examples of documentation that you're going to want to include in your book, but these are just examples. These are just to help you brainstorm. You don't have to include all of them in any way, shape, or form. You also may have some things that show a better story for you that aren't even listed here. But these are just some things to start thinking about including in your book or in your nomination. So, for instance, include your mission, vision, values, beliefs, and guiding principles. So you have those in there. Include those letters of support. Again, no more than 2 from each type of constituent. Honestly, letters from your competitors are pretty cool to include as well if you have competitors. Include an organizational chart, evaluation forms, put a listing of employee awards and recognition programs that you have, and then all the publicity that you have as well. Even if most organizations, they have a media log, include a list of your media log so that you have that in there, showing that you're getting the word out about what you are and what you're doing. A really cool thing is including stories about how your team has gone above and beyond the call of duty. You may not even know they happened because your team did it because it was the right thing to do. And they didn't even tell anybody they did it. Or maybe one person saw it, but they didn't say anything because it's the right thing to do. We do it because it makes us feel good. It's the right thing. And what happens is if I'm going to suggest you send out an email to your team asking for these stories, and you'll probably be surprised by some that you get back. Rumpke was a winner a few years ago, and it's one of my favorite stories. Is they sent out that email asking for stories, and they got one they didn't even know. Is there was a truck driver that was on his route collecting the trash, and he came upon a woman that was pouring through her trash sobbing. She had lost her diamond ring in the trash, and that driver stopped their route to help her go through that trash and find that diamond ring. He didn't have to do that. He could have kept on going, but he stopped and helped her, and you can bet he created a raving fan. That's a very cool kind of story to share within your information. Surveys are great, inclusive of your employee benefits. You can include your handbook, but I'm going to suggest you don't include your entire handbook. If you put in your handbook, highlight the pages that are important so that you don't put the whole doggone thing. Your best practices that are in your handbook. Talk about your hiring practices. For instance, Alternate Solutions has a really cool hiring practice. I don't know if they still do to this day, but back in the days that they won, they would bring somebody on and they would spend a week or 2 on the job. And then after a week or 2, they'd sit down with the CEO, talk about how it was going, making sure they felt it was a good fit for the culture. And if they didn't, the CEO paid them to actually leave the organization to find the right place for them. That's not a normal story, but it was kind of a cool hiring practice that helps them maintain their culture. Talk about tough decisions that you had to make that were really hard in the short term, but in the long term, they were the right thing to do. I know we all make those decisions. I know as a fundraiser, I've had to make them with sponsorships where I never want to turn money away, ever, ever, ever. But there's been times that I'm like, oh, it's not the right fit. And so I've had to turn that money away. So talk about those kinds of things. Strategic plan includes your community service activities, anything that you do with your industry, include those kinds of things. Put a listing of the different awards and honors that you've gotten recognition for. And then a really cool thing is include a 2-minute video about your organization and why you should win. I'm not telling you to go out and hire a company to do this. Absolutely not. Your cell phone can work just as well. And go and have your leadership talk for 30 seconds about why integrity is important. Have your employees talk about how they see integrity at work and why they value working there. Have a customer talk about it. Do it all with your cell phone. And if you all have not seen the program Animato, are y'all familiar with that? Yes, no, shake your heads. Okay, let me give you a little secret. Animato, it's ANIMOTO.com. It's like PowerPoint for videos. Super easy. It's free. You can upload all your videos and create an overall video. It will put music behind it. Literally, it is like videos for dummies. If I can do it, anyone can do it. It is the coolest tool ever, I think. So Animato.com can help you create that video super, super easy.
Can you spell that again, please?
I would love to. It's ANIMOTO. My interns use it to create videos for social media all the time. We use it a lot here. It is literally video PowerPoint for dummies. So I love it. So there's my tip of the day. If nothing else, you've walked out with a new tool. So absolutely. The other thing, talk about an overview of your programs or services. You probably already have that for the grants that you apply for. So put that together. Your annual report, talk about your programs, your financial statements, your policies that you have for finances, any major programs and donor funds. Put a listing of the trainings that you do for your team, your board of directors, and maybe put a sample of your agenda and a sample of your minutes. And then also any communications that you do to your constituents, your newsletters, your email blasts, screenshots of your website, and then any employee or volunteer events that you do. Put pictures and put a listing of them, what have you. For instance, I can show you, let's see if this is gonna work. Here is, can you all see this? I can't see myself anymore. Let me go up so I can see myself. Yep. So here is one from Maxim. They literally just did a listing. So you can do that type of thing. Does that make sense? Okay. Happen to have that sitting on my desk right now. So these are all just suggestions of things that you can include. There may be more, there may be less. You choose what you include. However, I am going to say to you, and Nicole will be with me on this, put it together from your judge's eyes. Go through and use labels, use bullets, use highlighters, use pullouts, scrapbook it, whatever you've got to do. Make sure the judges understand why you included those documents and what makes them important, and put that in there. Also put a listing of your collaborations and your partnerships and any policies that you have about ethical operations. Now, Nicole, she had a really unique way of making things stand out. So Nicole, I'm gonna let you jump in.
So I grew up in the 80s, right? So like the VH1 pop-up videos, anybody out there? So it was like the little, like, you know, you'd be doing something else and it'd pop up like a little bubble, right? So I actually on PowerPoint made like a thought bubble and then typed basically a 1 sentence or less description of what I wanted them to read from that page. So the way I would suggest doing that is like, if you're putting a binder together, I say binder, if you're putting together your story and you're sitting there, the best way to do it is have somebody sit across from you that doesn't know your organization, like a friend or somebody, a spouse, it could be anybody. and pretend that you're explaining them the binder, the submission, and you only have like a one sentence of why you put that in there. And that was what I used as the content for that page. So like I would highlight, you know, I had a page in there, and Sherry, if she had the binder, she could probably show this, or if you go see it, you can see it. Like I'd have the page, I would literally with a highlighter highlighted, you know, the what I wanted them to see, but then I'd have it in that bullet point in huge font, because you don't want the judges to have to search for what you want them to read. You know what I mean? So I wanted them, if they read nothing but my bullet points, be able to quickly go through it almost like a Cliff Notes, you know, almost an overview, and be able to pull the most important information that I needed them to hear. An example of how I did that, there was a page where I had a lot of stats and bullet points and good information, and you'd think, oh, it's bullet pointed, it's easy enough to read. And it was pretty impressive information. And if they stuck on the page and read it, great. The one that I wanted them to know the most, I made that the highlight. And so you can see how I did that. I believe, Sherry, I still have that template of that bullet point, which you could incorporate into a digital file as well. If I do, I'll try to email it to you if I still have it, so I can try to find it. But if anybody wants to use it. But yeah, that was just the way we did it.
Yep. So, I mean, you really just want it to be very clear and easy for the judges to know why you've included different pieces and parts. Any questions about the documentation? So don't wig when you see that whole big list. So it can vary in size of how big your nominations may be. So like, for instance, this is the Dragons winning entry last year. So that's how they did theirs. And then this is someone else's winning nomination, a little thicker, doesn't. And then you have the monster submissions like this. So really, bigger isn't better. It really is how you put it together and the pieces that you include. So don't wig if you say, well, I don't have all this, I don't have all that. Don't. You don't necessarily have to include all those. It's really just telling your story, and don't worry about how big it is. You don't have to hire a marketer to make it look pretty. That's not what it's all about in any way, shape, or form. Cool. The other thing you're going to submit is your organization's logo as a JPEG, PDF, EPS, TIFF. Just, dear Lord, please don't send it to me as a Word document. It is not easy for me to continue to use in different ways. So if you send it to me in any of these 4 formats, I would love you. Word document, I still love you, but maybe, no. So it's all good. But if you, because I'm going to start promoting you right away if you're named as a finalist. Cool. So let's talk about how we go through and submit. So you are going to go to bbbeclipse.org, and you're going to go to this webpage, and you're going to see my lovely bosses right there for that. And you are going to click on Enter Your Charity. Now, Kettering Health Network, you're going to click on Enter Your Business. But you're going to click, and it's going to take you to a page that is going to go through all the information that we just talked about and just kind of give you the rundown once again. And then it's going to have you go to a page where you're going to start entering your entry form information. And it's your basic, it's your company name, address, contact person, how many employees you have, those kinds of things. And then it will start having you upload your essay and upload your supporting documents, upload your essay, upload your supporting documents. And the cool thing is, I don't know about you, but I get fires throughout the day. And it's hard to sit down and get one project done without something interrupting. There is a save function. See this beautiful button right here? This will be the lifesaver. There is a save function. You can do part of it on Tuesday, next part of it on Wednesday, and come back and finish it on Thursday. So there is a save function, which is a beautiful thing. Cool. I would suggest that you don't do it alone. I love how Nicole, and I've stole it from Nicole because she said it this way. You do want someone to be the architect who has the overall vision of how they want the entry to look and pulls it all together. But get other help, have staff help you, have volunteers help you. Get an intern. We are a college town. Get an intern to help you. Kids are home from school, college right now. So get somebody to do that. It's a great resume builder for a college student, and have them help you put it all together. But get some help. I still want you to speak to me come March 1st when you turn this all in. But I would suggest not doing alone. Have somebody help you. For instance, have somebody from HR, somebody from operations, somebody from development serve on your committee to help you put it all together. Now, I got to have it broken down in pieces and parts, or I go a little nutty and I can't see the forest for the trees. So I went through and I broke it down on a timeline to help you, give you some guidelines on how you can get this all done very easily, because you're at a good time to be able to do this. Poor Nicole, she had a month to get it done when she did hers for Echoing Hills. So what I would do today is I would draft a communication from your leadership, a simple email. So for instance, think Patton did, Niels Winther, he sent an email to their staff saying, hey, we're going for this award, and I'm going to tell you that we're going to win. And if our team comes to you asking for information, you need to get it to them in a timely manner. So get that out today from your leadership so they know that they have you have their support as you're going through this process. Another thing, like Nicole was talking about, put boxes in a common area or folders on the internet labeled for each criteria, and then have people just start throwing things in that they think you may need for your entry. That way you don't have to go hunting for everything. You can sort through those and pull out what you need and then just go hunt for what might be missing. So I would suggest doing that. Rally the help. Go ahead.
We did that. Even though we did a physical printed out submission, we were a statewide organ. I say we're, I no longer work there. That's why I'm saying that. Echoing Hills is a statewide organization. And so getting physical papers back and forth from people, especially now working from home, it will be really easy if you just utilize a Google Drive or something like that. Oh my gosh, so cute. So yeah, so if you utilize a Google Drive or a shared drive file or something to be able to drop stuff into, that was really helpful. And we still referenced that. You know what I mean, Sherry? Like that's something that, oh, you needed that example from that one. Oh, go to the, testimonials folder or whatever. So yeah.
Absolutely.
But I agree. The architect thing is incredibly important because one person needs to craft the story. Everybody is interpreting, right? We all have different interpretations of what we think is maybe an example, I don't know, where the direction should go. So you want to include everybody because you don't know what you don't know until it's all there. But you need one person to really craft the story, to pull the best examples to make that story cohesive.
Absolutely. I would send out emails this afternoon to those you want letters of support from, and give them what the award is, the definition, what you're looking for from them, and a timeline you want it back. So I would do that today.
The best letter I asked for, and I would suggest you guys consider the same if you can have a relationship with some, the best letter I asked for was from our competitor. Specifically a competitor that when there was a criteria within the options here that say a time that you made a tough decision, right? That was hard initially, but on the outside turned out to be a good thing. We actually had a competitor by definition. We build the same services, we do the same stuff. That we had one service line that was kind of our focus and what we were known for, and they had a different area that they were known for or had better service delivery options. So we were able to say, hey, I think we shouldn't do this anymore. We think you guys should do this. And they said, we actually think you should be doing this, not us. And so what ended up happening was we divided and became, not the master of everything, but more specialized. But that letter was really from our competitor that said, yeah, it was kind of messy for a while and we were stepping on each other's toes and we weren't serving people the way we should be. And so we both made a tough decision and now we have a great partnership. So think about who to reach out to that maybe you had a really bad experience with, or maybe used to be not a fan of yours and now is a raging fan of yours. And it could be a customer, it could be a client, it could be a tough situation that turned out to be a beautiful example of why you live and do and be who you are. That is what you want to, that's the story you want to tell.
Absolutely. The other email I would send out today is to your staff. And I would ask them about stories of team members that have gone above and beyond. You'll find some surprising things, I'm willing to bet. So ask for those stories today. The other thing is ask them for a list of the boards and committees that they've served on. Everywhere your team goes, they are expanding your footprint as an organization. So if they sit on a board, if they sit on a church committee, if they sit on a kids committee, you can bet they're talking about your organization, which is expanding your footprint. I know anywhere I go, whether it's on a culture works board, whether it's on a kids sports team, whether it's on a church committee, I talk BBB. So include a list of all of those associations as well into your thing. And it's pretty cool. You're going to find out your teams are doing some great things. So it's kind of cool to share that as well. So those are 2 emails that I would send out this afternoon and get the ball rolling in that regard. Then next week, starting Monday, spend the next week and a half working on your second essay, the one that's about your operational excellence, and pull the supporting documents together. Give yourself a week and a half to do that. Plenty of time, say an hour a day, go through, you're gonna tackle it. Then January 20th, a great day, it's my birthday, spend another week and a half and write on your third essay and gather some of that supporting documents. Just give yourself that time. Just put it on your calendar, an hour a day or 3 hours on a Friday, you're gonna spend working on this project. Actually make it an intentional piece of your work that you're gonna do. And then on February 1st, spend an hour and a half working on your fourth essay and gathering those supporting documents. Then February 10th, write that very first essay about why you should win, your best practices in that round. Then February 22nd, you have a week, review it, fine tune it, have others review it and offer feedback. It's important to have somebody else take a look at it because we're so close to what we do. Sometimes we don't realize we're using jargon or somebody doesn't understand what we're trying to say. So it's a great opportunity to have other people look at it. Nicole Sturck would be a great person to have a look at it. So get on her calendar now so that you can get with her and she can provide you some feedback in regards to it. Then you're going to review, fine tune, and March 1st, you can submit your entry to the BBB. And use huge sigh of relief. When we used to do the binders, I used to have people just overwhelmed turning it in our lobby. They'd want pictures with it. So as they turned it in, it's a big discovery process for your organization. But then come March 2nd, you need to plan your site visit. The site visit is a game changer. So you can have the best entry ever. Your points look like you're the leader. And then the judges go to your site visit and it can flip it. So really, really plan your site visit. All finalists will get a site visit. So if you are named a finalist, you will get a site visit. Site visits are going to be held April 1st. Kind of ignore this April 2nd. That is if the world ends, I'm doing it on this April 2nd. But April 1st is the day that we'll be there. It's going to happen so fast. I am going to call finalists on March 26th, the day I find out who the finalists are, and say, congratulations, you're a finalist. 3 judges will be at your place on April 1st at 2 o'clock. It literally happens that fast. Think about who you want to be at that site visit to speak on your behalf and put that on their calendars now, that April 1st is the day they need to be available. So the site visit, you have 30 to 45 minutes, no longer than 45 minutes to tell your story, to talk about how integrity is in place within your organization. Be prepared, time it out, tell your story. Some of the best site visits I have heard are done with stopwatches. so that you get one person to one person to one person, and you don't have somebody that's really windy eating up your 45 minutes. You can do it through a PowerPoint, you can do it through a tour, you can do it by having key staff talk, clients talk. I would not have the same person talk for 45 minutes. You know how boring it is to listen to me right now for 45 minutes? Imagine the judges doing the same thing. Be sure to use the words integrity and ethics. The judges had one, it was either last year or this year, where in the site visit, they never said integrity and ethics. That's what this award is all about. So make sure you use those words. The judges will not come in asking questions. They want you to have time to give your presentation about what you want them to know during that time. Don't worry about giving them tchotchkes. Don't worry about giving them food. They don't care. They really want to hear your story. I would really practice and time it out so you know everything. Everybody knows what they're supposed to say and how long they have to say it. The best site visits I have heard is, for instance, the CW did it, and John Hannon met the judges at the door, said, "Hi, my name's John Hannon. I'm the general management, and I have 30 seconds to get you to so-and-so." And then again, well, I have another couple minutes to get you to this person, and just went through the tour that way. Practicing, Think Patented did it, and she practiced multiple times. They went through the day of, and the mayor showed up, and she's like, "Now you only have 3 minutes." And he goes, "Oh, I'm going to take as much time as I want. Don't worry, I got this." And she's like, "Oh no, you literally have 3 minutes." So you need to be the architect of that site visit. Nicole, I know it was an important part for you. Can you share what you did?
Yeah, sure. So to Sherry's point, so first of all, with that date, April 1st, if you have anybody that you absolutely want to be a part of that site visit, I would reach out to them today and email them and say, "Hey, we're going for this award. Please block your calendar out on this day to be physically here in Dayton, Ohio." Our CEO and founder live like 3 hours away. And so we had to make sure that they were available to be in Dayton. We ended up planning a whole day of meetings, so it made sense for them to be there, to make the trip down. But that's assuming you guys have people all across the state. But regardless, even if it's your program director, someone that you want to speak, or a customer, let them know if they're able to block off that date. That'll really help you now. The way we did our tour at Echoing Hills, we served adults with developmental disabilities. I wanted one of our clients, our members of Echoing U, to lead the tour. It made sense, and I wanted it to be that way versus us. And so how we did it was we met him at the door, we wrote a script out, and then we have a building. So we had different rooms in the first floor that we had kind of set up in different ways. So the first room was some parents talking about why they see integrity and ethics within who we are. Then we would go to the next room, which had some sponsors, some businesses, some partners. And we almost had, like, I don't want to say a science fair, but we had some pictures, some boards, some visuals, things so people could see them with, and then we had a person with the stopwatch in the hallway, and they were like, "We gotta go," and so we were going room to room, space to space. But we ended with the founder and our CEO. And I did that intentionally because they are long-winded. And I knew whatever time we had left, I'd rather them leave there, the judges leave from them, and they understood that, than from the customers, the businesses, and our families and our clients. And so that's how we did it. We scripted it out. We read over it multiple times. I believe it still exists with, highlights and marks and timings and things. But yeah, incredibly important to time it out, plan for it, script it out. And if you have people that want to talk, put them at the end.
And you have 45 minutes. The judges will leave, in fairness to the other finalists.
That is correct. They do it kindly, but they do say we've got to leave, right? So, yeah.
It used to only be 30 minutes, and then we expanded it to 45 minutes. So it really needs to end at 45.
Yeah.
Any questions about the site visit? Y'all are a quiet crew.
It doesn't have to be physically, like people say, what if we don't have a building, right? Like, what are they looking for? They're not looking for anything. It's what you say and what the stories and oh, here we go. Sherry had a question. Okay. So yeah, so to the point of you don't have to show them they don't want to see your facilities, right? So even if you have just a room or a space, you could have your speakers come in and out of that space, right? They don't care about what the facility per se looks like.
Right.
Sherry, can I jump in here?
Yeah, I see a couple questions in the chat too.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've got a couple questions in the chat. Kate is asking, how many man hours do we anticipate the process taking?
You know, I cannot give you a real rule of thumb of that. I do think you need to be purposeful and intentional. So I would really put a couple hours at least a week into your calendar. Especially, it's not as difficult as it was in the past. It's hard saying. Nicole, how many hours did you take?
You were going to ask me that. I knew you were going to ask me that.
About it.
I'll be honest with you. I probably spent 15, 20 hours a week for those 3 weeks. I had 3 weeks.
Yeah, she didn't find out she was nominated until February.
I had 3 weeks and it was the old process. So I say that because the old process was a lot lengthier. And so if I were to be doing it now, my plan would be, if you're the architect, which I'm guessing if you're on this call, if it's not you, it's someone you work directly with, would be the primary person who is the architect of this process. I would say for you personally, account for maybe one day a week, 5 to 8 hours of your time. And I'm saying that because you're going to have to be going through information, deciphering what information, compiling it, scanning it, asking for more questions. Kind of think about it like you're writing a report, because that's what you're doing. And also you're going to have to go through emails and gathering things and making phone calls and grabbing letters. So it might not be truly a day's worth of work, but accounting for those kind of organizational processes. If you have an intern, you're going to have to be working with them a little bit too, to do that process. So you could probably get by with less hours if you have a designated person helping you, but you're going to have to be the editor and ultimately, organizing everything.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Nicole. I think especially you're ahead of where Nicole was when she started, and it is simpler than it was when Nicole did hers. So I would say at least a half day a week somehow, whether you do it all in one setting or you spread it out at, an hour a day that you go through and do it, you can make it very manageable, and you're at a good time that you have the 2 months to get it done. So, put it on your calendar that an hour a day that you're going to work on each section and go through that and go that route. Now, the other question I see is, does the integrity process apply to businesses that have just begun? You do have to be in operation for at least 18 months. So that's one of the requirements. We don't want to know that you've been doing great things for a month. We want to see that you have some tenure that been able to be doing those great things. So 18 months is the time period. Now, if you're below that, it's not a bad time to start pulling information together.
Right.
So if that doesn't apply to you this year, we'll start, and through the course of 2021, start pulling that information so you can enter the 2022 competition. Get a head start. That would make me feel so good if I were.
Wow, that would be.
Right. So absolutely. Were there any other questions that I missed?
Well, and Gloria, that might give you a chance. Do you fall below 18 months right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I would suggest then is make that appointment with Sherry, and go in and look at those submissions and start seeing what people are doing and what they did and how we did it. And And it will also help you identify things that maybe you haven't thought of yet with your new organization. Those things that you say, oh, we really should be creating that, you know, and it can give you a little bit of a checklist of things to do to help your business also.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get some cool ideas going through those nominations and some cool things that other organizations are doing that you can incorporate within your own. Like I said, this is a cool self-discovery process. So don't look at it as just, oh, I'll win or I don't win. It's really an opportunity to enhance what you do day to day. So very cool. So my friend Nicole Sturck, I put this information out there for her. Y'all hit her up. She is the bomb. She will help you however she can. Do not hesitate to use her. Nicole's like, Sherry. But no, really and honestly, she is the kindest person. She will help you however she can. Don't hesitate to reach out to her. She has been through this, so she'll help you. If you have Nicole look at it and you want somebody else to look at it, then you can look at our list of past winners on that BBB Eclipse and see if you have another connection that you could talk to give you some advice, some feedback, review, and have them do that. So take a look at that as well. But Nicole is the bomb. Don't hesitate to reach out to her. Nicole, I got all your information right.
Yes, that's perfect. And the good news is that I helped Echoing Hills. So the organization, if you're going to go look at binders or go ask Sherry for things to see physically, ask for, just, you can say Nicole's binder, Sherry knows, but like Echoing Hills, Echoing You is the program that I helped the submission process for. I now work at CICSA. I've been here for about 1.5 years almost, which is crazy. And CICSA won in 2013. And so CICSA's binder is in there. I wasn't a part of that process, but I can tell you, you know, that a little bit of the backstory there if you run across that submission as well. But I'm happy to review things. I'm happy to, I have people every year just call and say, okay, now that I'm in it, I have a few questions. What do you think? I'm happy to answer those. If I can email you, I believe I still have the draft of my, the tour that we did. Actually, I do, because I asked Jerry to email everything to me. So I have the script of the tour script. I think I still have that bullet point thing. Anyway, if I can help you guys, please reach out to me. And the good news is I would be an outsider to you, all of you, right? So looking at your binder or submission or however, you know, I say binder. I'm going to say binder till I'm like 70, I think, Sherry. But yeah, anyway, I would love to look at it, because I could be like, you know, I don't understand this, or, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Draw attention to that, you know, so happy to help.
Hit her up. Absolutely. She will be a great resource for you. I would get on her calendar already for that last week before you turn it in to have her review it, to make sure that she has time that this week to do it for you. So hit her calendar up now. Cool. So the award categories. Businesses, there's 4 award categories. Nonprofits, we have 2. There have been cases where we've expanded the nonprofits to 3. So for nonprofits, it's small and large. For businesses, it's small, medium, large, extra large. It's based on your number of full-time employees. And there'll be a place on the entry form where you'll enter how many full-time employees that you have. So that's how the categories work. I can't tell you what the breakdown is for those categories because I don't preset them. So I can't tell you right now, well, 0 to 5 employees is going to be small, 6 to 10 is going to be medium. I used to do that and it didn't work. People weren't competing apples to apples. So now what I do is when the award entries come in, I look for where those natural breaks are. And that's where those award categories come in. You would think it would make sense to preset them, but it doesn't. It just didn't work. Nominations have to be received by March 1st at 4 o'clock. I will take them on February 1st. I will take them on February 28th, whenever you want to submit them. But if it comes in at 4:01, I cannot accept it in fairness to the rest of the finalists, as I'm sure if it was the case, you would want me to do so. So March 1st by 4 o'clock is the deadline. And remember that technology is not always our friend. So you might want to get a head start on that. Entries will be reviewed by a panel of judges independent of the BUB staff and board of directors. I don't even look at your entries, to be honest with you. All I look is at your entry forms so I can divide them up between the judges and put you in the right groups. So I have no say on it as well. I will tell you, there have been years where the judges could not decide and they came out to me and said, Sherry, you have to make the decision. I said, no, I cannot. You have to go back in and make the decision. I had a panel of judges that came out to me 3 times, angry and angry and angrier each time they came out because they could not agree. And I sent them back every time. I have no say whatsoever, excuse me, on your books. That being said too, you don't have to drop it off with any pomp and circumstance to me at all, or when you submit it. The funny thing is several years ago, we had a company that actually dropped off their binder with an ice sculpture and a full spread for our team. I hated to tell them we don't look at them, but we did enjoy all the goodness. But you do not have to do anything like that at all. The judges will make personal visits to award finalists. Excuse me, I've been talking a long time. And that's when I'm going to call you on March 26th and tell you I will be there on April 1st at 1 or 2. But that is dependent on the pandemic. Now, this year, 2020, we had to do those site visits via Zoom. So keep that in the back of your mind, depending on where the pandemic is come April. So just keep that. We did have to take them via Zoom in 2020. So that is the potential. My hope is right now we can do those personal site visits. The judges' decisions are final. Every year somebody calls to tell me that a finalist sucks. Trust me, my judges do their due diligence. They are community leaders. I know they've done their due diligence to check out who those finalists are. They also do, my team also does brief background checks to make sure that all is on the up and up in regards to our finalists. Whoop, Sherry, stop clicking. And the other thing is the judges do have the right not to issue an award in a category if they feel there is no one worthy. I will tell you, we have a company that submits every year. They don't even follow the guidelines. Any year, one year they even use the wrong name of the award. So if they find out that there's no one that's worthy or everything is kind of like subpar, they have the right to not issue an award. Cool. I would love to be besties with all of you. Let's be besties. I would love to be there to help you however I can. You can reach out to me via email with any questions. You can give me a call at any time. I really want to help you be successful and do whatever I can to answer any questions that you have. So be besties with Nicole and I over the next couple of months. And we want to see you succeed, and we love to see you go home with the award. It is a lethal weapon. It is beautiful, and we want your team to take it home come May 11th. The winners are going to be announced at a dinner attended by 300 local business leaders, dependent on the pandemic. Now, when we planned everything, it appeared that 300 people was the right number come May. But we all know we got the numbers are rising and all that fun stuff. So last year we had to make an alternate plan and everything went virtual, or we originally planned to move it back to July or August. That may be what we do this year as well. But we are planning on having a dinner this year. So keep our fingers crossed. Everybody stay healthy, wear your masks, be safe, get your vaccines, all that fun stuff. Because we all want to be together again. I don't know about you, but I'm ready to do some networking. Sherry, goodness gracious. You will get the award, which is awesome. It's beautiful. The pride and the sense of accomplishment your team will be, it will be like none other for your team. And then the media exposure, we will promote the heck out of you. The minute we name you as a finalist, I'm going to start promoting your organizations. Not to mention that you also get to promote it yourself as a finalist or as a winner. We'll give you the logo to be able to promote. How great would it be able to put on your grants that you were an Eclipse Integrity Award winner? that you can put it on your business cards, you can put it on your doors, on your vehicles. It's a great thing to be able to say you've been recognized for your integrity. So you will get that as well. But I do wish you the best of luck. I have enjoyed spending the morning with you all, and go from there. Kate, if you want to connect with me, I would love to connect with you as well to talk about a little bit how it's different for Kettering Health Network. We talked a little bit about your essays are different. You have 3 essays as opposed to 4, but all of your essays are 1,000 words, whereas they have 4 essays and 3 of them are only 750 words. But I would love, and Jenny, I saw your email. Do you want to send it out, or would you want to give me everybody's email addresses and I send everything out?
It doesn't matter, Sherry, whatever is most
I'll tell you what,
convenient.
if you just want to send it to me, I will make your life easier. If you'll send me everybody's email addresses, I will get that all out to you yet later today so that you have the PowerPoint presentation and everything. But I am really wishing all of you the very best of luck. I can't wait to recognize your organizations, hopefully. Yay! Did I scare anybody off? No? Shayna, are you scared off?
No, I'm just trying to imagine all the work. We have 3 full-time staff members here. And so just trying to figure out if we can actually put in the time and energy into doing it.
I think you can. I think I will have the force be with you. So yeah, just break it down into manageable bites.
So can I give you a little pointer, Shayna?
Sure.
So let me put it to you this way. And this is the way, because I had to at times, well, mind you, my situation was slightly different. 3 weeks, full submission, trying to figure everybody out from everybody across the state, right? And I had to tell myself or convince myself, like, why, like, what is going to be the benefit of this effort? And I not only had to convince myself, I had to convince my boss, the CEO. I had to, because I'm saying, hey, I can't be a part of meetings right now. I have to bow out of some stuff. So like what I had to do was get their agreement that it was a priority to be able to bail out of some of my, or table some things, projects, because to me, I knew that it was going to be a lot of effort, but in my mind, I viewed it as the hours I put into this, there's no way I'm going to be able to do business development any more effectively with those hours. So what I meant by that was I knew that if I put this submission together and we became a finalist, heck, we won the thing, that it was going to put me in positions and conversations and put the organization in an area of recognizing them when we had no one who knew who we were. Like I couldn't go out and schedule enough meetings to tell people who we were in that amount of hours. Does that make sense? So yeah, the number of hours it took to pull it together from a business development stance, triple the ROI of my energies and efforts initially. And so I just had to get my bosses to basically say, like, is this, honestly, the first thing they said was, is this just about a trophy? Like, what do we get? You know? And it's like, oh, quite the opposite, right? Like it's, yeah, you get a trophy, fine. And that's nice to have in your lobby. Don't get me wrong. And like it catches eyes. It was about how do I tell people who we are and what we're doing and that we are a force to be reckoned with in the Dayton community. Because no one knew who we were, right? I mean, I know Life Enrichment Center. I know it because I know it. Otherwise, there's a lot of people who don't know what Life Enrichment Center does, or they think they know, right? They think they know, but they may not know. And so from a time perspective, I would argue or sit down and look at your calendar and say, where are your hours going for as far as partnership development? And can you, in your mind, shift that as to what you're doing with this development? Mm-hmm. That's my suggestion.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a high point is what's this going to do for us down the road? And how is it going to help me in the future? So that's definitely a selling 100%.
Honestly, I hear
100%.
that nearly everyone, that it has really enhanced their ability to do business and their footprint in the community, which is huge for a nonprofit. I've heard that Agape for Youth, it took them from here to here. So I feel that would be the same for you. Wright Dunbar, they were the same way. It really took them to the next level as an organization because of the exposure and being recognized for integrity. It is really a win to go through this process. Even if you don't win, just the process of self-discovery and having it all together.
Well, and a finalist is I'm not going to say a finalist is not a win either, right? So you become a finalist. The logo, we have a logo that says Eclipse Integrity Award finalist. There is something to be said for that.
Yep.
And so with that, to the point of what Sherry said about foundations and getting grants and getting local funding, Echoing Hills never had received $1 in foundation money in Dayton area. Once we won the Eclipse Integrity Award, we got 4 and 5 funders immediately who, once we put that on there and we were able to tell our story better because we had to go through that process, we became better storytellers of who we were and why we're incredible. You know, it gives you that confidence to say, wow, I until I pulled all the numbers, I simply didn't know. So you got to put that effort in, but that effort gets almost able to be copied and pasted moving forward to allow you to get additional funding, partners, resources, really, truly.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
100% agree. And really, a good place for you to start is going through your grant applications and the things that you submit for grant applications and the things that you submit to potential donors. That's a great place for you to start to pull some of that information. So it may not be as burdensome if you start there, if that makes sense. Cool.
And Kate, for you in your situation, since you're not a nonprofit, I think a lot of times for-profits catch a lot of unnecessary or unfactual fluff because there's an assumption that you don't do anything for the community, right? That you don't care for those around you and that you're not giving back and that you're not you're a business, you're not a heart, a passion. So the opportunity for the Kettering Health Network to be viewed as, we're known, people know who you are. It's different maybe approach, but it's you know who we are, but did you really know all these other things? It's a chance for you to shine light at those things that don't get maybe the attention from a marketing standpoint, from a numbers, from a hospital stat standpoint.
Yep. And Kate, I promised to share that definition for you for the business nomination or business award. Here it is. You're focusing on your leadership and your team members. So yours is defined on how your leadership is committed and builds that culture and works on their own ethical practices. And then it's going to be about your team and how you handle the performance management, the HR, and your commitment to the community, which, I mean, Kettering Health does a great job with helping our community. And then also your first essay is just like nonprofits, but then your second essay is going to be about your organization's ethical leadership. So it's again, talking about what your leadership does regarding to their commitment to ethical practices and how they communicate that to your team and what they do to build that culture. And your third essay is about how the organization overall has that integrity, their performance management practices, HR, and their commitment to the community. So that's where your essays are different. Everything else in regards to the process is the same. It's just your essays are a little different and your definition is a little different. Does that help, Kate? Well, hold on. Well, I can't hear you, Kate. You're muted, but we'll connect.
Kate did not answer, but she texted yes in the group chat.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Good. Any other questions for me or for my good friend, Nicole?
Email me, call me anytime.
Very cool. Jenny, I think that is everything. Am I miss anything?
I don't think so, Sherry. This is, as always, amazingly thorough. You break it down right into manageable, I think, bite-sized pieces. So we so appreciate you walking us through it. Nicole, thank you so much for giving examples and other ideas about how to approach all those pieces and parts. This is always so helpful. Thank you on behalf of the Miami Valley Nonprofit Collaborative for everyone who attended this morning. As we mentioned, you'll certainly be receiving this PowerPoint presentation with all of the details, from Sherry after the session. So that's going to continue to be a resource for you. You have Sherry's contact information, you have Nicole's, and you have mine. So you have resources and support as well. We appreciate the Better Business Bureau for sponsoring us today in our program. Again, if the recorded session is of interest or assistance, we're happy to share that too. So feel free to reach out to me for that.
Hey, Jenny, would you forward me a link to the recording? I would love to share that on social media too. That would be awesome.
I would be happy to. Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
So,
all right, y'all. Have a great day. We wish you all the best from the Better Business Bureau.
Thanks very much, Sherry.
You can do it.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Happy 2021, everyone.
Absolutely.
You too.